this episode picks up where Ivory and Mel are having their third and final fight. And look, I will say that Ivory won all 3 rounds in my opinion. I watched the fights in slow motion, so I can definitely see that Ivory was connecting most of her hits to Mel. However, Mel wasn't really connecting any hits to Ivory. If you watch it in slow motion, you can see that, Mel is swinging with her head down, so she's swinging blindly at the air, while Ivory kept her head up this time, because when Ivory was fighting Lex, she had her head down. But while Ivory was fighting Mel, she kept her head up and her eyes open the entire time, and that was why she was able to connect most of her hits to Mel. So in my opinion, she won and Mel didn't. Now, all the baddies were cheering on Ivory during her fight with Mel, and I thought it was kind of weird that some of the fans didn't like that, because it's like, of course they're going to cheer for Ivory because they don't know who Mel is. Mel was never introduced to any of them. She just walked in, started taking her shoes off, and the two of them started fighting. I did think that it was wrong that, they basically took her out after the fight with Ivory and she didn't get to say anything or anything. I thought we were going to get to know her a little bit just from this one episode, but that did not end up happening. But Natalie was so fed up with all the fighting, and because Scotty called her out telling her that she needed to get in the paint and swing on Summer, she decided that she was going to go outside with Rollie. And look, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but I'm on Natalie's side in this situation. When Scotty told Natalie that she needed to get in the paint and swing, she was telling her that she needed to swing on Summer while Summer and Anna was fighting, and that was weird to me, because why the hell would Natalie swing on Summer on behalf of Anna when Anna and Summer are sitting there holding each other's hair? Go back and watch last week's episode. When Scotty told Natalie to swing and get in the paint, that was when Anna and Summer were holding each other's hair. That was stupid to me that she would think that Natalie, as the person who is the face of the show, would be jumping one of the new girls with one of the OGs. That was just stupid to me that she would think that makes any sense. Then Anna's inside really pissed off about Natalie and Rollie walking out the room, and she started saying that Natalie should have stayed inside instead of leaving her best friends behind, and she was referring to Jayla and Scotty as Natalie's best friends when none of them are friends with each other. All of them talk about each other. All of them have fell out with each other. They are not best friends. Nobody on this show has a genuine friendship, in my opinion. The only friendship that has been sticking and hasn't fallen apart was Anna and Tasiki, and that's only because Anna's afraid of Tasiki and she wants her on her side. The friendships that Natalie has with Scotty and Jayla are all business, okay? It's all about business. They are not friends with each other outside of this show. They probably talk to each other, go on trips with each other, but ultimately it's all about business. All of them have fell out with each other. All of them have been exposed for talking bad about each other, but they all benefit from being friends with each other because they all make money off of it, and that's the only reason why all of them are still cool with each other. They all benefit from being friends with each other. Natalie gets entertainment for her show, and Scotty and Jayla get promotion, and they make a lot of money off of being on the show too. So at the end of the day, it's all business. I don't know where this best friend stuff came from, but it's weird to me. It would just look bad for Natalie to be jumping one of the new girls for one of the OGs. That makes absolutely no sense that, Scotty would ask Natalie to do that, and why Jayla and Anna were so upset that Natalie did not get involved. That was stupid. And I know some of the fans had a problem with Rollie being outside agreeing with Natalie, but I agree with Natalie too. I think that Rollie and Natalie were right in that situation. Natalie had no business trying to jump in any fight with any of the girls because she's supposed to be neutral. And even if she's not actually neutral on the inside, on the outside, she has to make it seem like she is. There was no need for Natalie to have to swing on Summer when she was fighting Anna. I mean, they claim that Summer can't fight, so if Summer can't fight, then why can't Anna fight her own battles? Then Anna's inside restarting up drama again because she gets on the microphone and she starts yelling at Summer and Lex, telling them that they need to thank her, Scotty, and Jayla for them getting a moment this season. And then she starts saying that Summer got beat up 3 times, and I'm like, who did she get beat up 3 times by in this episode? Because I did think that she lost to Scotty, even though Scotty was kind of fighting her with an open hand. She still won, but Summer did not lose those fights against Anna, so I don't know what Anna's talking about. Yeah, Summer was pulling Anna's hair, but she still won those fights. And I know some people were in the comment section saying that Summer didn't really win the fights against Anna because all she was doing was pulling hair. However, I feel like if it was the other way around and it was Anna that was pulling Summer's hair and she was winning the fights because of that, I feel like nobody would have had an issue with it. It's only because people don't like Summer anymore that they're saying that she didn't win those fights. She still won those fights against Anna. Then Anna starts going off about Summer's baby daddy and how he's in a wheelchair and he won't be able to sleep with her anymore. And Biggie was trying to tell Anna to stop saying that because she was doing a little bit too much, but Anna would not listen and she just kept going. Now look, I don't feel bad for Summer about Anna saying this about her because when it came to Slim and her father passing away, she had no problem saying F your dead dad. So even though I don't feel bad for Summer, I will still say that I feel like Anna is wrong for making comments about Summer's baby daddy because he had nothing to to do with the situation. Just like I said it was wrong when Summer made comments about Slim's father. I'm gonna say they're both wrong in that situation. However, I don't feel bad for Summer because she's done it to other people. Then Jayla gets in her confessional and she starts saying that nobody should have been acting like that at the restaurant and that none of those fights should have happened. And then she started saying that the newbies are entitled and that's why they were acting that way. And I was scratching my head because I was so confused because I thought the OGs started the trouble with them at the restaurant. The OGs were the ones that immediately started making comments to the new girls as soon as they walked into the restaurant. I distinctly remember Anna and Jayla making comments towards Summer as soon as they walked in the room. And they did the same thing at the club booking. They started making comments on the microphone about the new girls getting beat up all season and all that stuff like that. And that's what kicked off all the drama that happened at that club booking. They also started the trouble with Summer at the ice cream shop because when you look in the background, you can see Anna, Jayla, and Scotty all laughing because they knew that Anna was going to go sneak Summer. So even though they didn't participate in sneaking Summer, they were laughing about it because they knew that's what she was going to do. Go watch the episode. You can see them in the background laughing. So I do not agree with Jayla. I think the OGs are the ones who have been acting very entitled. They acted entitled last season, but they're acting even more entitled this season. They've been the one that's been causing all the drama. They've been the ones jumping people and tag teaming people, and then when people retaliate and do the same thing to them, they play victims. They were the one holding everybody up because they kept showing up to meetings late, and then they were the ones that weren't showing up to bookings that they were advertised to be at. They were not participating in any of the activities that they were supposed to be doing. So to me, the OGs are the ones that were acting entitled. Then the OGs end up coming outside finally after being in the restaurant arguing with the newbies, and Natalie and Rollie are in the car, and Natalie sticks her head out the window and she starts yelling stuff out to Scotty, telling her that next time she's gonna let Lex beat her up and that, you know, Lex is prettier than Scotty and that Scotty is ugly. And look, I definitely think that Natalie took a low blow when she said that. I don't think that Scotty's ugly. I don't think that Lex is ugly. I think they're both pretty in their own ways. So I don't think it was right for Natalie to say that. But she said the reason why she said that is because Scotty tried to tell her to get in the paint and swing on people, but she wouldn't fight Lex when Lex wanted to fight her. And according to Natalie's live that she did yesterday, she claims that Scotty told them, Zeus, security and everybody, that she did not want to fight Lex. So they made sure that Lex could not get to her. Because if you don't know this, Scotty gets protected a lot. She definitely does. Anytime somebody wants to fight Scotty and Scotty gets up to fight them, security makes sure to protect her. They make sure that she doesn't fight that long and that she barely ever gets touched, if you haven't noticed. So the reason why Natalie was saying that next time she's going to let Lex beat her up is because she was probably going to tell security not to protect Scotty this time and to let them fight. Because security sure was making sure that Lex could not get to Scotty. They always protect her. I noticed that a lot. Even when she was fighting Emma, they kept protecting her. They wouldn't really even let Emma get next to her. Then when Natalie and Rollie drive off, Anna starts going off about how Natalie should have had Jayla's back because Jayla got jumped in the club by Summer, Lex, and Dolly. And it's like, well, Jayla swung first. And Anna was the one that started the trouble at the club to begin with because she was the one that got on the microphone saying that the newbies were getting beat up all season. And at one point when Natalie leaves, Scotty starts crying. And she's saying that she's not crying because she got into an argument with Natalie. She's crying because Jayla got jumped in the club and Natalie didn't do anything to help her in that situation. And it's like, what exactly was Natalie going to do? Everything happened extremely fast. I distinctly remember Natalie over there trying to break up the fight that happened at the club. And I mean, it was more like a brawl than a jumping because Jayla swung on Dolly. So her and Dolly start fighting with each other. Summer gets involved and somebody snatches up Summer, okay, while she's trying to get involved in the situation. Then Lex gets involved and then two more people get involved. I think Tinkerbella and somebody else got involved. So it just looked like a big brawl to me, but I did see Natalie over there telling somebody to let somebody go during that fight. So she was over there in the middle of the situation. She just wasn't swinging on anybody. And I think it's funny because it's like when the OGs jump people like they do every single season, jump, tag team, pick on people and do all that stuff, it's okay and it's justified and nobody has an issue with it. But then when the same thing's done to one of them, then they're crying about it and making it a big deal, and I just don't think that it's necessary. Now the next day, Natalie does end up calling the newbies, telling them to get ready because they're all going on a hike for their last day in Hawaii, and basically they show a clip of Jayla and Natalie arguing with each other because Jayla's pissed off at the fact that Natalie didn't do anything when she was getting jumped in the club. She starts going off on Natalie about the situation, and Natalie says that she didn't know it was jumping. She was just over there trying to break it up. I just feel like the OGs know what they sign up for, and just because they're friends with Natalie doesn't mean that they get special treatment, doesn't mean that she's gonna fight these girls for them because that's not what she's supposed to be doing. So I think it's weird that they sign up for this show and then think that they're gonna be the ones that get special treatment just because they have a friendship friendship, supposedly a friendship with Natalie outside of the show, when really they're not really Natalie's friends either. Natalie's not their friends, they're not Natalie's friends. They all just benefit off each other, and that's what they do. And I see a lot of people in the comment section saying that they feel bad for Jayla and Scotty, and that they hope that one day Jayla and Scotty will realize that Natalie's not really their friends. But they know Natalie's not really their friends because they're not really Natalie's friends either. They hang around Natalie the same reason why Natalie hangs around them, because they all benefit from the friendship. Jayla and Scotty benefit because they make money off of hanging around Natalie. Natalie hangs around Jayla and Scotty because she makes money and benefits off of being around them as well. It's a relationship where they all know they're not really friends with each other, but they know that it benefits all of them. And you know how we know this? Because as many times as they fell out with Natalie, they still end up befriending her again because they know they benefit off of it. Just like Natalie said when she went live yesterday. She was on the phone with Jayla for 2 hours, and then Scotty ended up calling her after the episode aired, and she talked to her as well. So they're all still going to be cool with her after this. Trust me, they will. Now, they all end up going hiking, and it's kind of scary at first because they're walking through leaves and it's kind of dark and wet outside, and then all of a sudden they get to the area they're supposed to be at, and it's really pretty. And because of all the fighting that happened the day before, Natalie said that she doesn't want any fighting, she just wants talking. So she wants all the girls to go around and tell how their experience was for Baddies Midwest. So all the newbies talk about their experiences. They said that they liked it, they enjoyed it, and they hope that they can come back the next season. And then Scotty ends up showing up in the middle of everybody talking, and that's when Natalie says that everybody can just get off their chest whatever they want to say. And this is when Nunu and Anna start arguing with each other, because that's when Nunu started saying that the same people that are acting like victims now and claiming that they're so mad are the same people that have been jumping and tag teaming people all season, and she's right about that. But Anna is obviously going to try to defend herself because she knows that that's being directed at her, because she's one of the people that jumps and tag teams people. So then Rollie gets involved, and she starts saying that because the OGs act too entitled, she feels like Natalie should make it to where the OGs get treated just like the new girls, and she feels like Natalie should try to spend more time around the new girls as well so that she can really get to know them too, instead of constantly spending all her time every season with the OGs, because she feels like that's partly why the OGs feel so entitled. And I will say that Rollie has a right to make the comments that she's making right now, because she decided this season that she was going to stay in the house with the new girls. So she lived in the house with the new girls to get to know them, and that was her choice, because Natalie was going to let her go with the rest of the OGs, and she didn't want to. She stayed in the house with the new girls with Tinkerbella and Diamond the Body. And I don't always agree with Rollie, but she's right. Natalie does need to spread her time apart with the new girls as well, because she needs to get to know them too, because that's the reason why the OGs feel like her loyalty lies with them and not the new girls, and that she's supposed to be jumping the new girls for the OGs. It's because she spends more time with them than she does with the new girls, when really she's supposed to be neutral. But then Natalie starts addressing Summer and Lex. She starts telling Summer that she put her in a bad place when she came up to her to give her a hug and then tried to sneak Scotty, because it made it look like she was trying to be messy in that situation, which is true. I don't think that Summer should have done that. If she wanted to fight Scotty, she should have just ran up on her, and that's what she should have done, instead of getting Natalie involved in it, because then Scotty tried to make it seem like Natalie just sat there and let, Summer sneak her. Then Natalie tells Lex that when Dolly and Summer were fighting Jayla in the club, that she should have stayed out of it, because then it turned into a bigger fight than what it needed to be. And that's when Rollie ends up getting involved, and she starts defending the new girls, because she tells Natalie that she needs to keep it even and balanced. She needs to say the same thing to the OGs, because she feels like the OGs are the ones that have been tag teaming and jumping people all season. Now when it gets done to them in return, now all of a sudden they want to act like they're victims. And again, I completely agree with Rollie on this, because they're the ones that started the trouble. They're the ones that started jumping and tag teaming people and getting involved in other people's business. Then when the new girls gave them that same energy, then they wanted to play a victim and act like Natalie needed to pick a side. It was Biggie's turn to tell how she felt about this season, and she immediately starts addressing Lex. And the only reason why I'm talking about this particular situation in this episode is because I find it funny how protected Anna actually is, because Biggie starts telling Lex that she thought Lex said that she would never fight somebody as small as Anna, but then she's been picking at her all season. And I think that's interesting, because Lex definitely spared Anna multiple different times this season. It was Anna who kept picking at Lex all throughout the season. And I just think it's funny, because okay, then if Lex is too big to be fighting Anna, then why didn't Scotty fight Lex for Anna then, since Scotty and Lex are basically the same size? It's just that Scotty is a little bit bigger in weight than Lex is, but they're the same size and height and everything. So I feel like then Scotty should have fought Lex for Anna then, if that's the case. But nobody said that about Scotty when she fought Anna, because Anna's entrance into Baddies was her fighting Scotty. That was the fight that she had when she got on the show, was her fighting Scotty, who's bigger than her, a lot bigger than her. So I feel like nobody said that at that point. So why are they saying that about Lex? I think maybe it's because because Scotty can't really fight and Lex can, and that's why they feel like it's unfair. Jayla did her exit video and she was crying, and look, I have a lot of respect for the OG Bad Girls because they were on the Bad Girls Club, so I feel like they do deserve some level of respect. However, I don't understand why Jayla's acting like a victim. I mean, I don't feel like anything was done to her this season that she wasn't a part of on her own, other than Natalie trying to put her up for elimination. I definitely think that that was wrong and that was her playing in Jayla's face. But other than that, I don't think that anything was done to Jayla. I mean, I don't know what was done behind the scenes, but from what we were able to see on the show, the only thing that I think was done wrong to her this season was her being put up for elimination by Natalie. I didn't think that was right. That's about it. Now, Natalie decides to hand out 3 baddies chains to the girls that didn't get one. She gave one to Nunu, she gave one to Pretty P, and she gave one to Summer. But when Summer opened up her box, it was completely empty. Scotty took the chain. She had it on the dog. Natalie ended up going live saying that Scotty never took the chain from her room, so she doesn't know where she got it from. She must have got it from production or from Lemmy, because Natalie claims that she never had the chain in her room, so she doesn't understand why it wasn't in the box and how exactly Scotty got it. But Summer does eventually end up getting her chain in the club for their last appearance at the club in Hawaii, and that's the end of Baddies Midwest. They did end up dropping the teaser for the reunion, and I will say that from what I saw in the teaser, it looks like some of the stuff that the fans were saying that were in the audience lied, okay? Some of the stuff they said did not happen the way that they said it did from what I was able to see in the teaser. Now, obviously, we know it's not the full reunion, but I definitely will be reviewing it when it comes out. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Midwest. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.